Why play Aatrox top? Well, he is a beast of a lane bully. He brings a ton of damage, he is a manaless champion, and his kit has a lot of sustain built into it. However, he is a skill shot reliant champion needing to hit his Qs and Ws, and he does fall off late game compared to other champions who will be able to teamfight or split push more effectively. Aatrox's passive is he periodically empowers his next basic attack to gain bonus range and deal bonus damage. He also heals for a large amount of this bonus damage, however this heal is reduced if this attack is used against a minion. Whenever he hits an enemy champion or large monster with a basic attack or ability, the cooldown of this is reduced by 2 seconds, and the cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds if he hits with the sweet spot of his Q. Aatrox's Q has 3 different activations. This ability only goes on cooldown after the third ability has been used or after 4 seconds without it being used again. The first cast is a long straight line skill shot which deals damage. The sweet spot for this one is at the end of the ability which deals bonus damage and knocks up enemies hit. The second skill shot is more of a cone skill shot with the sweet spot at the entire edge which also deals bonus damage and knocks up enemies hit. The third ability hits in a circle with the sweet spot being in the center of the circle. The second cast of the ability does 25% additional damage with the third cast does 50% additional damage. Aatrox's W is a straight line skill shot which deals damage to the first enemy hit and slows them. If this hits an enemy champion or large monster, they then become tethered to the ground for 1.5 seconds. If the tether is not broken by the end of its duration, they're then pulled back to the middle and dealt damage again. Aatrox's E has a passive where he heals for damage dealt against enemy champions. The active is an auto attack reset which causes him to dash a small distance in a direction. Aatrox can use this ability while using other abilities. Aatrox's ultimate causes him to go into his true form where he fears nearby enemy minions and monsters. During this time he gains a large amount of bonus movement speed and is ghosted. In addition, he gains bonus attack damage, increased size, and increased self-healing from all sources. And whenever he scores a takedown, the duration of this ability is extended by 5 seconds. For combos, your basic go-to is to use Q into E to help land it, then an auto attack. Follow up with a Q into W, then an auto attack before using your final Q into an auto attack. And your all-in combos to start with the ultimate into your Q, E, and W before using Q into an auto attack, and then another Q into an auto attack. For matchups, Aatrox does great into champions who need to scale, or range top laners who he can easily get onto. And he can struggle against champions who can absorb his early game pressure and stall out his great laning phase. For runes, take this. Conqueror has great synergy with his kit. For build orders, start Shield and Pot into tier 2 boots and a Gore Drinker. After this, a Spear of Shojin is a great pickup before finishing your build with any of these as needed. For skill orders, start Q then E then W before maxing Q then E then W, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Teleport. Starting the game, you want to set yourself up to be able to bully your opponent the whole laning phase. You have a very strong level 1, essentially having 3 abilities on your Q, so if you can get onto your opponent, start bullying them. Otherwise, you'll be able to bully very hard at levels 4, 5 and 6 when you start hitting power spike after power spike. As you have no mana and a ton of sustain, you want to trade with your opponent as often as possible. Whenever you can land a Q into E and W, go for it. It's simply a ton of damage, and when you hit level 6, you now bring a massive amount of kill threat, where as long as you have the room to run down your opponent with your massive amounts of movement speed, simply go for them. Entering the mid game, take your tower as soon as possible, and usually you want to keep split pushing for pressure, before collapsing onto a team fight or teleporting in as needed. Entering late game team fights, you want to play the frontline role. Use your large amount of CC to protect your backline, while dealing out tons of damage helping you sustain.